up, everyone? What's going on? This is Jonathan Mathis, the sports judge. The Super Bowl is set. The Eagles punched their ticket to the Super Bowl, and the Kansas City Chiefs punched their ticket to the Super Bowl. It should be a very exciting Super Bowl. I'm going to recap both games today, both the AFC and the NFC championship game. What a day it was in the National Football League. And man, Patrick Mahomes is on his way back to the Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts is going to appear for the first time in the Super Bowl. Man, this Eagles team is scary. This Eagles team looks like the most complete team in the NFL. Then you got the Chiefs, of course, and the Chiefs continue to be one of the top teams in all of football. We know how creative they can get with Andy Reid running the offense. And then, of course, you have Patrick Mahomes, who's arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. That's what we hear quite often when you think of Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes continues to amaze me with what he can do out there on the field. Mahomes is simply magic, okay? And the Eagles look unstoppable. So this is going to be one hell of a Super Bowl. And you know, it can go either way. It could go either way because both of these teams deserve to be there. They have clearly put everybody else on notice with the way they played. So it will be the Chiefs facing the Eagles in a matchup of the AFC and NFC's top seeds. Again, the Chiefs bounced back from last year after losing to the Cincinnati Bengals, the team they faced tonight. So they were able to redeem themselves from last season. They've been waiting for this moment to get vindication. They did just that against the Bengals. Now, the Bengals scared them for a second because the Bengals rallied back. They tried to pull off another comeback. And if you remember last year, the Bengals rallied back to stun this very same Chiefs team in the NFC Championship game. That wasn't the case this year. The Chiefs were able to hold them off because they got some, they made some big plays, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. You know, Chris Jones did his thing defensively. You know, he showed up when they needed him to show up, and he was huge. I think his defense, his play on the defensive side of the ball, was the difference this time, you know. And I mean, it looked for a moment like Joe Burrow and the Bengals might do it again, like pull off a miraculous comeback, rally back from being down 13-3, you know, because they were down 13-3 in the game, and then they managed to try to pull off a comeback anyway. And next thing you know, the game was 20-13. But you know, there was so much on the line. There was so much at stake. The Chiefs' superstar defensive lineman Chris Jones sacked Burrow and forced a punt with 41 seconds left. You know, the Bengals tried to get back in the game, but you know, I like the Bengals' chances, man. They're a young team. They'll be back next year, but it's hard to watch Joe Burrow run for his life out there. They got to get that man some protection. They really got to get that man some protection. And you know, they have to protect him and his future because he is a stud quarterback. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But, I mean, he needs a sturdy offensive line. And he needs that protection up front. He doesn't really have that. You know, a lot of people feel that there was a controversial call late in the game, that the refs helped the Chiefs win the game. And, you know, I always believe this. If you don't want to be put in a position where the refs have control of the game, you got to do everything in your power as a team to get ahead or take the lead or whatever, because a win should never be based on technicality. Sometimes it comes down to that. Sometimes it happens, you know. But Patrick Mahomes, this dude was out there playing on a bad ankle and still found a way to get it done. He was simply flawless out there. You know, and what you saw early from him, he was able to release passes. He got rid of the ball fairly quick. I think that was their strategy coming into the game, to get the ball out of his hands, to take as much pressure off of him as they possibly could. And they did just that. They did just that, you know. And Kansas City was simply amazing. You know, Bengals lineman Joseph Osei, if I say his name right, got penalized for unnecessary roughness late in the game. He pushed Mahomes after he had already ran out of bounds. That's where the penalty came in. And then later, on a few plays later, Chiefs kicker Harrison Buckner absolutely clutched in that situation. Easily knocked through the winning 45-yard field goal to send the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. And now they have a date against the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, I'm telling you, you got a high-powered offense about to face a ferocious Eagles defense. It's going to be one hell of a Super Bowl. The Eagles, they took care of business. They won on Sunday by taking advantage of some of the 49ers' misfortunes in the game. There was injuries. Brock Purdy suffered an elbow injury, and that changed the game completely for the 49ers. That completely changed the game. Their defense, the Eagles' defense, looked dominant, as it has been all season long. After some early struggles on offense, no, Jalen Hurts didn't look like himself. I engaged in a bit of a disagreement earlier with a commenter who said Jalen Hurts looked terrible. He was saying that Jalen Hurts, people should be calling for his job. I think that's utter nonsense. That's ridiculous to me. This dude had a breakout year. What the hell are you talking about? This guy's not a robot. He's not gonna be good in every single game. I mean, damn. What do you expect from a man? Sometimes he's gonna have a bad night or an off night. But the defense picked him up. The Eagles were able to rediscover their potent rushing attack. They piled up 148 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. What more can you really ask for? And you can't say enough about Nick Sirianni and the job he has done. He's done a terrific job. The Eagles are a dangerous team. They have a chance to prove it in 2 more weeks. They have a chance to be crowned Super Bowl champions now that they're there. So, I mean, to say negative things about Jalen Hurts, that's just ludicrous to me. But I won't feed into that negativity. But then you look at Mahomes, man, for the Kansas City Chiefs. A bulky ankle. You got a banged up star tight end. You got receivers going down all around him, and they were able to muster up plenty of offense. And Mahomes threw for 326 yards and 2 touchdowns with no interceptions. I mean, he was damn near perfect in the game. Made the game-winning play to set up the game-winning field goal. That man ran as if it was his last game. That man ran to put his team in field goal range on a bad ankle. This, to me, was a signature performance for this generation's greatest quarterback. I think he has, once again, solidified himself as the baby GOAT. I think he has. I mean, I know I talked so much about Josh Allen, and I talked so much about Joe Burrow, and I talked so much about Lamar Jackson, but man, Patrick Mahomes put this team on his back and marched his team down the field to help send his team to a Super Bowl. So now the biggest storyline now going into the Super Bowl is going to be Andy Reid facing his former team. That's gonna hijack the entire narrative. It is. But man, Patrick Mahomes was absolutely insane on that final drive. No question about it. His entertaining style of play. He's the epitome of true greatness. He's the epitome of what that creative offense is capable of doing. We saw it. Him and Andy Reid are good together. And the chemistry between Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce is unreal. It's as if Kelce knows when the ball is coming in his direction, and it's as if Patrick Mahomes can read Travis Kelce's mind. I mean, that's how great the chemistry is. I guess you can say that this Chiefs team reminds you a lot of the New England Patriots from back in the day when Tom Brady was there. Mahomes is always going to make the plays no matter what. He's a fierce competitor. He has that competitive nature, and he continues to demonstrate it out there on the field. He looked well prepared. And like I said this morning when I previewed these games, according to reports and from what I heard and from Darren Smith, a radio personality in Kansas City, he saw Patrick Mahomes practice twice this week. They had been working on him. Patrick Mahomes had been at the training facility all week. He had been there since Sunday. They have been working on him from sun up to sun down. And, he's proven more than capable of adjusting through adverse situations like his ankle injury that changed the offense. A lot of people didn't think he was going to be able to move like he was today. And that was my initial thought, that he wouldn't be able to move like he did today. He was mobile. He was able to elude the pressure, to keep plays alive, to, make a run for it if he had to. And he was able to make throws down the field. His best throw was the go-ahead touchdown pass on the same series when he aggravated the high ankle sprain. And he did just enough to get them in the position at the end. And you just can't say enough about the dude. I mean, they went up against a Bengals team that had defied all odds to get to where they were. A Bengals team that made adjustments in the second half, and that's something they've been able to do all year because they've been the comeback kids, and that's what I thought we was gonna see, another comeback from the Bengals. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, but the Bengals will be back. They're gonna be in contention. They got a good team. You look at that wide receiving room, and it's deep. And it's one of the best wide receiving rooms in the NFL. I don't think any of us can deny that. You got a bunch of dynamic playmakers on the field, and that allows Joe Burrow, with the arm strength and his ability to throw downfield passes, that allows him to spread the field more because he has so many options. He has so many guys that he can target and throw the ball to. You got T. Higgins out there. You saw T. Higgins make a spectacular catch. I mean, that was absolutely breathtaking. This guy literally went up over Chiefs defenders and pulled one in. It was one hell of a catch. You got guys out here, you got acrobat receivers on your team making beautiful catches out there. I mean, it's just breathtaking. But the Chiefs are moving on. Patrick Mahomes shows off his incredible arm strength, was able to showcase his talent once again out there. We're going to be talking about this game for many, many years. We're going to be talking about Patrick Mahomes and the spectacular day that he's had. This performance was remarkable because of his toughness and his resilience. His feet weren't what they normally are. But he still showed a lot of heart and determination and the true grit. And, a lot of people might think that's the reason why Mahomes should win the MVP. I mean, this game was evident, right? He elevates players around him as well as anyone in the game. I mean, he just does his thing, right? And a lot of people might say, did the best team win? Yeah, the Chiefs held on down the stretch. They deserve a lot of credit. This wasn't a one-man show. Again, Chris Jones was filthy with 2 sacks, another tackle for loss, and 5 quarterback hits. He set the tone on that defense. Kansas City was able to get to Burrow. They harassed him. Burrow took a beating, particularly in the first half. Kansas City sacked Burrow 4 times on his first 9 dropbacks. It was just a rough day for him, again, because he doesn't really have the protection up front. And then T. Higgins and Jamar Chase made incredible catches in the second half. They were out there putting on a show and showcasing their talent and showing the world what they are capable of doing as well. The Chiefs were able to build a big lead. The Bengals cut into the deficit. The Bengals are an outstanding team. The Bengals didn't get the credit they deserve. The Bengals didn't nearly get universal praise like the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs. People slept on this team. The football world clearly slept on the Bengals. But the Bengals made it known that they weren't a fluke. That last season's run to the Super Bowl wasn't a fluke. The Chiefs deserved to win. They played an all-around game. Mahomes battled. Their backup receivers made plays when they needed to. And their defense took advantage of an overmatched Cincinnati offensive line. And then you look at the NFC title game. I mean, the outcome could have probably been different had they had a healthy Brock Purdy. We're talking about the unlikely rookie who's been sensational since he took the reins, since he stepped in for the injured Jimmy G. But the Eagles coming into the game were always the superior team. No question about that. I don't think anyone doubted that. I think most people would agree that they were the favorites coming in. But when Purdy departed early with an injured elbow, you kind of expected for this game to kind of take a shift in momentum, in which it did. And the Eagles' punishing defense is what knocked Purdy out of the game, because this defense was able to put a lot of pressure on him and get to him. The Eagles were too good. They punish offenses like they usually do. And Purdy was... this was a daunting task for Purdy because he faced a defense with swarming defenders. This is what he was up against this time. So this might have been the biggest challenge of his career thus far. And it was. But the kid is tough. He tried to come back. He's resilient. Nothing seems to rattle him, like I always say. And he was unafraid of the moment. This is a guy who went back out there, tried to give it his all. And the 49ers defense is what got them there. And the 49ers defense kept them in the game. Gave them a fighting chance. Gave the 49ers a fighting chance. You had playmakers all over the field in that Eagles 49ers game. You had Deebo Samuel out there. You had Christian McCaffrey out there, who was able to get into the end zone today. He absorbed the hit, maintained his balance, stayed on his feet, and raced to the end zone for a touchdown. Of course, it wasn't enough to win the game. You see Devontae Smith making a one-handed grab that was a drop, yes, but still pretty cool to see. But I like this Eagles team. I got this Eagles team winning. I know it was a disastrous day for the 49ers in Philly with all the injuries and all the ill fortunes. But the Eagles are the deserving champions. They are clearly the favorites to win the Super Bowl. They should be anyway. It's going to be a very competitive Super Bowl. The Eagles are a number one seed for a reason. They were the best team in the NFC this season. And they've validated that with their trip to the Super Bowl. It's going to be hard to beat this team. It's going to be very, very hard for the Kansas City Chiefs to beat this team. The defense will punch you in the mouth. And the Eagles play smash mouth football. They play smash mouth football. And that offense attacked with great speed. And they were just ferocious. And, you talk about that Philly's defense. By the third quarter, Philly had amassed 3 sacks. One of them forcing a fumble. And 6 quarterback hits. And San Francisco's nasty defense only had 1 sack and just 2 quarterback hits alone. They were shaken up early as well. But the Eagles and the Chiefs have advanced to the Super Bowl. It's going to be one hell of a Super Bowl. I can't wait to watch it. I'm excited for the Super Bowl. It's a great matchup. And it could be one for the ages. We're in for a good one. It's going to be a treat. It's going to be something to watch. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys do, subscribe to the channel. If you like this video and if you want to see other videos on my channel, you guys can hit the subscribe button. It's real simple. Just hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share it. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great Sunday night. If you're on the East Coast, it's Monday already. You guys have a great night. Take care, everyone.